guys, so this is the deep dive for flow number 3, and you can find the flow number 3 here. So go check it out, the flow number 3. So in this deep dive, I'm gonna be explaining more of the yoga poses in detail, as well as some of the alternative poses that you experience later on. Okay, so let's get started. So we're gonna start again in a downward facing dog. Now remember, in downward facing dog, make sure you have your 10 fingers wide and slightly turn out your hands so the crease of your wrist, they're in line with the top of the mats. And really hug in your armpit, bringing your rib cage in. So we're gonna start with right leg lift, right leg up as high as you can. Exhale, we're gonna bring your right knees to your chest. Now really dome your upper back here, push the floor away. And we're gonna step the right foot forward. If that's too hard, you can always guide your right foot or right ankle with your right hand. And we're gonna lower that back heel, and actually we're gonna come to your Parsvakonasana or side angle stretch. So in that video, in the flow number 3, my side angle stretch looks like this. My right hand is to the inside of my right foot, and I'm really fully extended with my top hand reaching the top of the mat. Now, of course, there are modifications. Modification is you place your right elbow on your right thigh. This is the Parsvakonasana, your side angle stretch. Now, just take your sternum up to the ceiling or guide your thoracic to face the ceiling with your left hand. Now, from here, we're gonna move on to warrior number 2. So again, in warrior number 2, you really wanna reaching forward, reach back, and even reaching your front toes and back toes back, but hug the midline. And your hips should be about 45 degrees diagonally facing the front of the mat. And from here, we're gonna move on to your Ardha Chandrasana or half moon. Now in my video, I actually hop and straight away lift my back leg and catch the floor. So if you have a block, feel free to use a block. So you can use a block and lift your back leg. Or otherwise, modification is place your right hand first here, left hand on your waist, and you lift your back leg. Now this Ardha Chandrasana or half moon, again, your hips is about 45 degrees facing the top of the mat. And ideally you want to look up, but otherwise you can look down. Left hand can be on the waist. And really you want to get your sternum, you actually want to face the ceiling. If Chapasana is in your practice, Chapasana, then you can go ahead and grab left ankle with your left hand and really lift your sternum up to the ceiling, facing the sun, facing the sky, and a little bit of back bend. So from here, ideally, I actually want to get into standing splits, but that's too hard. So I actually modify. So I curl myself, do tiny ball. Make sure you have your hips facing the front of the mat. Because from half moon, transition to standing split, there's a lot of weight going on, a weight transfer to your supporting leg. So curl yourself to do the tiny ball. And then from there you can kick that left leg back. So here there are many options. Variation, of course, is your supporter warrior 3, where you place both hands on the mat, or otherwise, if you have a block, place both hands on the block. So it becomes supporter warrior 3. Make sure you have that left hip facing the mat. Or if you want to go for a little bit more advanced poses, go ahead and do your standing split. You'll lift your legs a little bit higher. Right hand grab the right ankle. And from here, we're going to transition to a lunge twist. I call it lunge twist. So come to your lunge first. So and remember not to collapse the back thigh, lift. Now I call it lunge twist. So really get grounded with your left hand and inhale, lift your right arm up. Now try not to look up first. You're going to just feel the alignment and then you can look up. So I call it lunge twist. Remember to take your sternum to the ceiling and take your right hip down and right hip to the back of the heel. So right hip down and to the back of the heel. And from here, I'm going to move on to reverse Skandasana, which looks like this. So you're gonna heel toes your right foot to the side of the mat, and you're gonna lower that hip down, left hip down, and you're gonna reach to the back of the mat. So your right was actually in line, not too much to the front. If you want a little bit more modification, you can go ahead and place your left thigh and left hip down, which looks like this. Otherwise, go ahead and lift the bottom hip up. And we're gonna pulse here. Inhale, we're gonna lift the bottom hip a little bit more up. And exhale, reaching to the back of the mat. And 2 more, lift. Exhale. Last one, lift. Exhale. And inhale. As you reach, you're gonna transition to Skandasana. So going through your lunge, facing the front of the mat. You're gonna walk your hands all the way to the back of the mat, to your Skandasana. Hands, palms can be on your chest. Now this is the Skandasana. Of course, there are variations. If your left heel doesn't touch the floor, that's fine. You can just stay here. You can flex the right foot. There's also another variation where you place the 10 toes facing the side of the mat, both heels down. So this is a modification of your Skandasana. It's just working a different muscle. And then you walk your hands to the top of the mat, Skandasana, depending on the Skandasana that you are practicing. So either this way, hands, palms on your chest, or bottom heel may not touch the floor, or the modification where you can be quite up here, but that's totally fine. We're just working a different muscle. And then after that, we're gonna come to your Anjayanasana, so transition again to your lunge, facing the front of the mat, lower your back heel, hands, palms here in front of your chest. And inhale, lift. Now you can really lift your sternum up, facing the ceiling, and lower that hip. A couple of breaths. And exhale, open your arms. Both hands frame your front foot. Inhale, we're gonna sweep the right leg up, 3-legged dog. Exhale, take your chaturanga in your 3-legged dog. Or you can lower your right foot. So 3-legged dog, or take your chaturanga from high plank, low plank to your up dog. Now in your upward facing dog, remember to butterfly the shoulders, push the floor so you can really lift up. And downward dog. Okay, so that's the deep dive for floor number 3. Go ahead and give that a try and let me know in the comments below.